occasionally you have to have a come to Jesus talk with people you lead. Here's what I mean by that. Actually, guys, it's Dan Greer with Forge coming at you for your 5-minute power up. And today we're going to be chatting all about why sometimes you have to have the hard conversations. You guys, the other day I had to have a hard conversation with my daughter. I've had it with my team multiple times. Not the same conversation, but conversations with them. I've been with my wife once in a while too, right? I'm with my boys all the freaking time. Boys are hard-headed. So are girls, by the way. But sometimes you have to have those hard conversations. And sometimes those hard conversations aren't easy. They're never easy. That's why they're called hard conversations. Come on. Work with me here, right? That's why they're called hard conversations. Now, here's what I want you to realize. Here's what I want you to know. Is that those hard conversations are really good when they're handled correctly. And here's what I mean by that. When you come at somebody and you tell them everything they're doing wrong all at the same time, a lot of times they shut down. And they're going to go one of two ways. One, they're going to get defensive. Okay, they're going to come back at you. They're going to say, I didn't do that. This isn't my fault. I'm not like that. That's not somebody who takes ownership. That's somebody who's protecting their ego. Ego stands for edging God out. You can learn that in my book, Grit, Grease, and Grace, Leadership Forged in the Trenches. The second option is they're going to shut down. They are going to come at you in such a way that they are going to shut down. You're going to be like, this is what you did wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you're doing wrong. Blah, 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 blah. And you're going to hit them with 10 things they're doing wrong. And you know what? You know what? They're going to shut down. And they're never going to come back. It's going to take a lot to get them back up once they shut down. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Here's what I want you to really, truly realize. It is harder to open somebody up after you've shut them down and to get them to have the same faith in you and same trust in you as they had before. It is much easier to tear them down a little bit, to get them to understand where they're going and give them little things to work on instead of everything all at once. I have somebody on my team. She's a great employee. She's amazing. I love her to death. Wouldn't trade her for the world. She came to me the other day and she goes, how do I turn in my 2 weeks? And I'm like, well, that's a lot of drama. Good morning to you too. And we had a conversation about it. And I asked her, I said, what's making you want to leave? And she told me, well, I just can't get this. I'm the only one screwing up. Nobody else is screwing up the same way I'm screwing up. And I said, huh, interesting. Okay. Well, I see how you think that. I see how you understand that. I see how you could believe that. It's not true, but I see how you could believe that. And she said, well, I'm ready to quit. I'm just done. And I said, okay, well, I'm not going to hold you back. If you feel like it's the best thing for you to do to leave, then leave. I'm okay with that. You got to do what's best for you. I don't want somebody in my company that doesn't want to be here, because you're not going to take good care of my customers. And we had a little bit more conversation, and she kind of broke down a little bit and told me what was going on. And I said, I'm willing to help you with that 100%. You just got to ask. If you're unsure about that, if you're unsure about what you're doing or where you're going, all you got to do is ask. That's it. And she said, huh, it's that easy? I said, it's that easy. Hey, Dan, help me with this. And then when we got in there and we got in our meeting, I scheduled like a 2-hour meeting with her, and we spent 2 hours together. And I'll tell you what happened during that 2 hours. We had a complete transformation in the best way possible. But I did tear her down while we were in there. And I said, I've showed you this stuff before. Why don't we record it so you don't have to come back and do it again? Why don't I show you where to find the video of how to do this? Because we've already recorded this once and you're just in your own head about it. And I did like 3 things that needed to be worked on. And honestly, if I would have told her everything that she was doing wrong at the time, she would have quit right then and there. And that's not what I want. I don't want somebody to leave my company mad. I don't want them to leave it indifferent. I want them to leave it better than they came. A better person, more prepared, all that stuff. And so as a leader, sometimes we have to tear people down to build them up stronger. Sometimes we have to let them know what we expect from them and let them. My dad always called them come to Jesus talks. Occasionally we have to have come to Jesus talks with people so that they know what we need from them and they know how to improve. You guys, that's my 5 minutes. Get out there. Don't be afraid to have the card conversations. By the way, pick up a copy of my book, Grit, Grease, and Grace. I'm shipping out the first one. It's my first Amazon order today. I'm super excited about it. It's going to Washington State. You know, if you want a signed copy, you got to go to gritgreasegrace.com to get a signed copy. All right, guys, we'll catch you later. Bye.